Okay, hello everyone, my name is Laquan Williams, and today in this video I'm going to be doing my review of Hawkeye's Season 1, Episode 5 that was released yesterday actually was released today on the 15th of December 2021. This is the 5th episode. It's called Ronin, titled Ronin, obviously the alternate character slash, um, I guess you can say, ego that Hawkeye has, where he obviously is much more brutal and vicious, where he actually kills people with his sword and is dressed up like as a kind of a retro or a 21st century ninja. He obviously became Ronin after the whole Thanos situation happened, with half the planet being erased and his family included. So he was no longer Hawkeye. So he set out to take out bad guys like he usually does. But this time he was killing people who were not aliens and monsters. He was killing regular people who are mobsters and gang members and stuff like that. And he did kill Echo's dad and also a lot of her family members as well. That's what it's titled. In this episode, we saw that Kate Bishop obviously talked to her mom that she needed to still help people, even though her and Hawkeye are working together. He set out to do his own thing, and he obviously didn't want her involved anymore, even though she already was involved. It was too late. So Kate Bishop had to obviously deal with that fact. She still told her mom that she needed to look into her stepfather because he's still corrupt and evil. She explained to her mother about that, and she still thought she wasn't going to listen to her. But we that did change later on in the episode. We saw because Kate Bishop's stepfather was arrested. Her mom figured out that he was evil finally after all this time, and the cops were there at the house, the detectives for the NYPD, and they arrested him. And we'll see what happens with that on the last episode, which will be next week, which is season 1, episode 6, because all of the Disney Plus seasons shows are only 6 episodes per season right now. That's what they're sticking to, basically, like Loki, and obviously the Falcon and Winter Soldier, as well as Vision and WandaVision, which is Scarlet Witch, and obviously Vision's show that they have together now that they're married and have a kid, and they're a couple, obviously, and they're married. So obviously Hawkeye was looking around, obviously, to try and figure out ways how he can still solve the situation with the Tracksuit Mafia, Echo, and obviously he was told and figured out now that Yelena is the one who's hunting him down, trying to kill him. Kate Bishop had to sit down in her apartment that was burnt up a couple of weeks ago in this first episode, I believe, where by the Tracksuit Mafia. Actually, it was the second episode by with the Tracksuit Mafia with it was basically the end of the first, basically. Anyways, Yelena showed up at her apartment. She was already there, and her and Kate Bishop talked for a while. She tried to explain to her. Yeah, Kate Bishop explained to Yelena that who is obviously Black Widow's obviously sister, that Hawkeye didn't kill her, and he would never do that because they were friends together. She said she didn't believe him, that he's a liar and he has a dark past, and he needs to pay for what he's done. And Kate Bishop explained to him that he helped me out and he's not really a bad guy. And she essentially told her to stay out of her way, and my mission is to kill him. And she obviously figured out that Kate Bishop figured out that Yelena was hired by somebody who we thought apparently was Lady Hydra at the end of the Black Widow movie. It was revealed, I believe. I didn't see the whole thing, but I remember that she told her. And she's the same one I talked to, the Captain America, the lookalike, technically the one who took over for Steve Rogers after he died a couple of years ago on the Falcon Winter Soldier show. He was obviously a jerk, obviously, and then obviously he was stripped of the rank of being Captain America when he actually killed people and in front of witnesses and a live crowd caught him. So that's when obviously the Falcon, who became the new Captain America, and the guy who replaced him was like some jock out of high school. He got kicked off and obviously not in jail. He works for Hydra now, so he's gonna be their new super soldier. Essentially, he took the serum. Obviously, at the end of let's say this is the 6th episode, pretty much, to obviously help him stay strong against the flag smashers. So essentially, that's what happened in that show. But it connects obviously, all the way around here, because the lady's name was I forgot her. I think her first name was Valentina, but anyways, her official name is Lady Hydra. And like I said, she was the one who gave the photo of Clint Barton, Hawkeye, to Yelena, and explained to her that her mission's not over yet. This is the man who killed your sister, and obviously you need to take him out. Apparently, she was hired by the Kingpin, who was who put this whole plan together, obviously, because Clinton Barton, aka Hawkeye, killed Echo's father, who was obviously the brother of the Kingpin somehow, because in the comic books, I've saw that if you look online, Echo is apparently the niece of the Kingpin. In the second episode, when Echo is introduced, or the third episode, when you see her backstory and origin story, Kingpin's obviously the one who's the big tall guy with his hands grabbing her cheek and pinching it and telling her that he's happy to see her. That's obviously his niece. Apparently that's the case, and she has some, I guess you could say, origin stories that do connect to the Daredevil as well. And obviously, Kingpin and Daredevil are sworn enemies together, so that does connect. It was revealed that Kate Bishop was the one who reached out to Yelena for being the advocate, obviously, for the Kingpin. So the Kingpin basically sent Kate Bishop, Kate Bishop's mother, Eleanor. She was sent by the Kingpin to talk to Yelena to kill Clint Barton, who is Hawkeye. So instead of obviously the Kingpin doing it himself, he did, but he ordered the hit as the big huge boss on top, kind of like a mob boss. But he obviously was not going to be the one actually being there at the meeting, because he never gets his hands dirty. That's the thing about the Kingpin. He always sends out people to do his dirty work, but he's always the one in charge and involved behind the scenes, as what the Kingpin is called, because he's the one on top, the king of the hill, the mob boss of the Godfather. He makes the final decision and the final say so, and he's the choices. Everybody has to kick up their money, and obviously for protection money, obviously any ideas or thoughts that they have to him. So that Wilson Fisk is here. They showed him at the end of the episode. I don't know if in a picture with that Yelena showed at to Kate Bishop on when she texted her that her mother was at this hotel slash I guess you could say her apartment or something. Anyways, she took a picture with her and Wilson Fisk that were at dinner. The Kingpin actually show up in the last episode, which is next week, the season finale. I think he will. There would be no reason why they wouldn't tease him for the next season. Obviously, we'll see what happens with that. It'll be very interesting to see what happens with that. Obviously, in the whole situation with Yelena and Echo, because they got into a fight, but Echo still wants to take out Hawkeye as Ronin. They got into a fight. It was pretty cool at the car lot, which is owned by the Kingpin, where the Tracksuit Mafia has their base at, where they're hiding from everybody. So Echo got into a fight with obviously Hawkeye. After he sent a message to her guys, the Tracksuit Mafia, that they were going to meet, where to meet him. They fought obviously, and he had a chance to kill her, but he revealed himself to Echo. Hawkeye took off his mask, and he revealed to her that he is, in fact, obviously Ronin. He explained to her that he didn't want to kill her family, but obviously they're bad guys, and that's what he was doing at the time. Obviously, he also explained to her that there was an informant slash turncoat in their organization that actually gave him the information to tell him where the meeting was at, and she said she didn't believe him, so she attacked him. He got away because Kate Bishop came to rescue him at the end, and she shot an arrow and knocked out. I think it was she shot an arrow and knocked the sword that Ronin had, obviously Hawkeye's sword, out of her hand. So Kate Bishop knocked out Ronin's sword from Echo's hand. Then obviously when Echo turned around, Clint Barton, who obviously is Hawkeye, ran with the sword. Obviously he was already gone. He attacked the Tracksuit Mafia and just took them all out like I guess you could say like a ninja in the night. He just took them all out, essentially. He did, and then he came after her, and they had a nice fight. It was cool. That was really the only action of the show. The rest of the show was basically this episode. That was basically the only action in the episode. Everything else was basically a talking. It was a long, drawn-out conversation with Kate Bishop and what's it called? What's her name? Yelena. Yeah. They explained obviously her backstory a little bit as to what happened. She got involved in the whole Thanos situation. She got involved in the snap. She walked into the bathroom of her friend's house for 5 minutes. She came out. She says, her friend explained to her it's been 5 years because the snap happened and Thanos obviously destroyed half the planet, obviously. So that's what happened. So she was mad about that. Then she obviously had to find out that her sister, Natasha Romanoff, who it was also the Black Widow, is dead. So she had to figure out who killed her. And she obviously did at the end of the Black Widow movie, which led her to figure out, obviously, and find Hawkeye. And obviously now that she was hired by the Kingpin through them meeting with Lady Hydra. So that's her end game mission, to kill Clint Barton and avenge her sister's death and move on. But she's obviously not the one who's in charge. And obviously she's not the one she doesn't realize that she's being played. But that's what's going on. And I don't know what's going to happen exactly, but she's still looking like she's going to attack her. attack, Hawkeye. I don't know if Echo's going to be involved somehow, but she's not done with this at all. More than likely, she won't be because she's obviously with the Kingpin, and obviously as his niece, the mission is to obviously avenge the death of her father. Obviously, the main guy in the Traxxas Mafia, who is the right hand man to Echo, is I forgot his name, but he's the one who's a snitch. Apparently, she confronted him about it. He said he didn't know what she was talking about at the meeting where Hawkeye was at as Ronin, where he killed a lot of her family members and her dad. He said that he didn't get the call to be at the meeting. She explained to him, "You're his right hand man. You were always with my father. Why weren't you there?" He said he didn't get the call, so she doesn't believe him. So she's probably going to find out that obviously, and she does believe that he is the one who is the snitch who told Hawkeye as Ronin where everybody was going to be at that meeting, the Traxxas Mafia, where he was able to kill them. It's looking like he used that as a way to gain power within the organization. All these people are taken out, but he wouldn't be the one in charge because Echo's father died, so she would be the next one in charge, obviously. So he did get a higher ranking position, obviously, because Echo's the boss and he's the right hand man to her, obviously. So we'll see what happens with that. Hawkeye and Kate Bishop got their new suits in this episode. He didn't put it. Hawkeye did not put it on, but in the season finale next week, he's going to put it on. We have this, big, huge fight scene with him and obviously Elena and Echo, and also the Tracksuit Mafia will be involved. I don't know how Kate Bishop's father is going to be into this, but more than likely he's going to get out of jail. He's got lots of money connections, and obviously he's very dirty, and he'll get out. He'll end up probably having to fight Kate Bishop. He'll get involved in that huge fight and brawl that they're going to have. It looks like they were having this fight. It's like this big, huge banquet. I don't know what's going on, but I saw the preview of the season a couple episodes ago, and it showed that some type of big, huge music hall or something. I don't know. Radio City Music Hall, something like that. I have no idea. We'll see what happens. Kate Bishop's more than likely going to end up fighting her stepfather, who's a master swordsman, and she's probably going to have to end up being the one who kills him, or Echo does it. I have no idea. We'll see what happens, but that's more than likely what's going to end up happening. She probably has to do it to keep her mother safe because he's dirty. Her mother finally realizes it, that she's been played this whole time. The episode was cool. Like I said, the whole situation with Yelena and Kate Bishop, it was redundant, and it was like really like awkward. Like Kate Bishop's like, yeah, she can kill me at any moment, and like the whole them talking together was like, I really didn't care about it. The episode was cool, but it was a short episode, so them talking was like most of it pretty much. That could have been really simple and easy. But we'll see what happens, obviously, next week on the season finale of Hawkeye's first season, which will be episode 6. I don't know what the title of it's going to be called. The fight scene with him and Echo was cool. I would have hoped it would have lasted a little longer. I don't know if they're going to fight again next week. I don't know. We'll see. Echo doesn't know about who Yelena is. She just knows that she had a mask on her face and she was involved in the fight with her and obviously Kate Bishop and Hawkeye, and she attacked her, and they got into a little bit of a brawl / scuffle last week. So she's not happy about that. She wants her revenge. Echo does on Yelena, so we'll see what happens with that. The episode was okay this week for episode 5, Ronin, but I would have liked to see a little bit more background, like at least an episode where it was like literally centered around Hawkeye as his life and the day in life of him as Ronin. We only saw like little flashbacks of that, obviously, throughout the last couple of years of Endgame and whatnot. We haven't seen an actual 20, 30, even like I said, 40-minute episode or something like that to center around what the first day he became Ronin and his first mission and all that. I would have hoped they would have done that, but they did. They only did that. They've only shown flashbacks, which, like I said, is okay, but I would have liked to see more when he decided to become Ronin. Obviously his first the first amount of bad guys that he took down, how he got involved with the Tracksuit Mafia. I actually would have liked if that would have been an episode this season, which would have showed the background of how he knew them. It was shown, obviously, him attacking them, but there was no episode of showing of him leading up to him attacking them, obviously, and him obviously being told by Kate Bishop, Echo's right hand man, who was obviously in the Tracksuit Mafia, where they're at. Like that whole episode, that whole situation, that backstory, it would have been nice if it was one episode that showed that before how what led up to the attack. Obviously, we just saw, like I said, just a couple of flashbacks, and that was basically it. And I think that would have been cool, obviously, because this is obviously Hawkeye's first time having his own solo show, and he's not having his own movie, so that would have been cool if they actually did that. They did not. So we'll see what happens with that. Yeah, but that's like the end of my video and my review for this week. It was cool. Like I said, it was nice. We'll just see what happens, obviously, next week. And Um, Basically, essentially, what will happen moving on forward, because the Young Avengers is going to be out next year. I don't know if there's going to be a show or a movie, but Kate Bishop is supposed to be involved, and she's supposed to be on the team. And we'll see what happens with that. Obviously, if it's going to be a series or a movie on Disney Plus, I have no idea. It'll probably be a series, more than likely. Or if it's going to be Hawkeye season 2, and it's going to be Kate Bishop, obviously, by herself now that Hawkeye is retired, or with his family, or unfortunately he does end up dying, which I hope he doesn't, but that is a possibility. Kate Bishop will take on the role as Hawkeye, but she'll be Kate Bishop. She's not supposed to be, Hawkeye, because it's always obviously been him as the main person that takes upon the mantle. She's still Kate Bishop at the end of the day. But when you go on Google and actually type in the cast on there, Hawkeye cast, everybody's picture shows up, and the character that they play under it as the actor and actresses. You can see that Jeremy Renner has Clinton Barton under his name and Haley Steinfeld as Hawkeye. If you actually go on Google and you look that up, which I think is weird because she's not Hawkeye, she's Kate Bishop. But like I said, she'll still take up the mantle. But he's obviously the first character, and he's the only one that's been that since like the late 70s, if I'm not mistaken, early 70s. As it has always been him, with his costume that he's had on, obviously with the H on his head and the mask that he used to wear. But that's basically the end of my video, and like I said, my review for it. This week's episode of Hawkeye, and we'll see what happens when the show's season finale happens next week on Wednesday. And that'll be the end of my video. Thanks for watching. That's all I have to say about this. Again, thanks. Goodbye. Thank you.